So I got a reminder from Chipotle this morning that this month is my half birthday, which means that I'm 34.5 years old. And if I could go back into my 20-somethings and tell me some advice fresh out of college, this is what I'd probably say. We're gonna fly by these as quickly as possible because time is money. That's one of the first things I learned. Number one, take yourself more seriously. Experience is your biggest asset, and most people just throw it by the wayside. By the time you're 26, you've already been through a lot in life, whether that be experiencing things musically, professionally, personally. All that experience just gives you an edge versus the younger creators that just don't have it. So trust it. Number two, your friends are probably going to change in the next 5 years if you dive into sync licensing the right way, because as you level up, your circle will too. And that's totally okay. You're in the building phase of a career, not just to play local shows or something like that. Surround yourself with people that are working towards the same goals as you. I like to be the least experienced in a room just because there's so much more I can learn from that kind of experience versus one where you're kind of doing all the work. Number three, focus on the process and invest in your career. I cannot stress this enough. If you really want to learn something as fast as humanly possible, you need to find someone that's already doing it. You'll be light years ahead of a version of you that's trying to do it and figure it out for themselves on YouTube University. And it doesn't take a full semester of college normally to figure it out. I personally did this by studying under an audio engineer for 2 days about how to mix and master, and $500 later, I was able to walk away and do it on my own versus taking classes somewhere. In order to find people like this that are a little bit further ahead of you, you can join communities like the Sync Alliance that provide a very nice incubating safe space where you can connect with others that are already finding success in landing sync deals, getting placements, and normally success leaves clues. So just saying, it's there for you. Number four, protect your creative energy. Sync licensing can be a very demanding job, and the wrong people around you will drain you. So be ruthless about protecting your energy and only collaborate with people who elevate your work, not the other way around. Normally this turns into babysitting and now you're spoon feeding, and the process is just not fun. And it normally delays the project so you can get to other stuff that you actually want to make. Number five, the more you track, the more you actually improve. In sync licensing, you really need to track your progress, whether it's counting how many briefs you're submitting or how often your tracks get placed, what libraries you're in. What gets measured gets improved. If you're not doing this, start now. Number six, sync licensing pays a lot more than you think. There's a lot of misconceptions about it, especially if you're listening to people that aren't doing it for a living. Most of the time when you hear stuff negative about sync licensing, it's people that fail. The payouts can range anywhere from hundreds to thousands of dollars, which is still low-key way more than you would earn on Spotify on a yearly average. And that's not even counting residuals. Seven, you don't need a massive catalog to start. I hear this misconception all the time. You might think that you need hundreds of tracks to make money in sync licensing, but honestly, all you need are the right ones. Quality over quantity wins every time. You don't even really need 12 tracks. Start with 5. Number 8, sync is about strategy, not fame. You don't need 1 million followers on Instagram or to be touring nonstop in order to get sync placement. Sync is more about getting your music to the right places at the right time. Focus on pitching, not fame. Number 9, networking is key. By this stage, you've probably built up a solid network in the industry, whether that be from touring, working with other musicians in the area. Use that. The law of 6 degrees of separation is a real thing. And if you're looking for more connections, go to the watering holes or the water coolers where everybody's hanging out. For instance, Shades of Sync. It's happening this fall. Trust me, connections matter way more in sync than ever before. Number 10, authenticity is everything. In sync licensing, your authentic sound is what actually makes you stand out. Be weird. It's totally okay. Don't try to copy trends as much. You want to understand what the market's asking for, but make sure you put your own unique spin or voice onto it. Supervisors want something that sounds original, and that gives it normally more emotional impact. Number 11, embrace discomfort. You gotta take more risks. If you feel like you're out of your comfort zone, especially in the sync industry, it means that you're actually growing and pushing your boundaries. Embrace the discomfort is normally a sign that you're on the right path. The sync deals that you actually want are probably on the other side of that creative fear that you're having. So don't be afraid to take risks, especially with your music, while still following instructions. Number 12, your diet actually affects your creative mind. Your music isn't just what comes out of your DAW, it's what comes out of you, and it's based off of what you consume, input, output. So whether that be your experiences in life, the food you eat, your relationships, all the information that you let into your brain, that influences your music. So take care of all those things and your music will inherently improve. Number 13, don't wait for the perfect timing. You don't have to wait for all the stars to align to get started in sync. You can do it passively or as a side hustle until it starts making as much as your main hustle. If you got a few tracks, start with those. Waiting only means you're delaying the opportunity, and normally if you do that, you're gonna quit anyway. Number 15, make the decision for yourself. At the end of the day, it's your career, not anyone else's. So don't let anyone else, not even me, me tell you how to run it. Test what works for you, test what works for the market, and don't take anyone's advice at face value. If you experiment with these kinds of different ideas, you'll find out what works best for your sync career. But if you're over 26 and you're not in sync yet, you're totally missing out on one of the most lucrative and creative phases of your entire music career. And it'll help you retire early as well. But with all of that, you might be wondering, well, is my music actually even good enough for sync? Missing this key information could be holding you back from tons of different sync placements. So in this video here, I'm going to show you exactly how you can evaluate your music under a microscope and give you the steps to make sure that your tracks are sync ready.